Hi, my name's Amy Levin, and I'm from the United States, and I am so honored and blessed to be here in India for the PSSM global event. And I would love to share my story with you in meditation and also what I've learned here the past few days that I've been in India. So originally, I am trained as a registered nurse, and I spent the majority of my career on trauma teams or open heart teams, which I enjoyed very much. And because I come from the United States, most things are evidence-based, and that's how I was raised. And I didn't think anything else other than if you can see it, touch it, hear it, feel it, then that is the truth. So in 2017, a friend said, "Would you like to go get your chakras cleared?" And I said, "I love to dance. Let's do it." He looked at me with a very strange look and he said, "Do you know what the chakras are?" And I said, "Obviously not," because I really thought it was some kind of dance. I had never heard of the chakras. Spirituality was something I had thought about, but was not part of my everyday life. I had been raised religious in the Lutheran church, but no longer attended church since I was 18. My family didn't do much of that. So I really could care less about that particular world because I was happy and I didn't have much stress. So when he said, "Let's go get the chakras cleared," I'm up for about anything. So we went to get our chakras cleared. And while I was there, the woman knew things about me that nobody else would have known. You know, it certainly wasn't something I would have posted on Facebook for anybody to see, read, hear. And because she knew, I was actually taken back. I had never been around somebody that could read energy, that had shown their intuition in any sort of way that I was familiar with. So she says to me, they want you to go meditate. And as I'm looking around the room, I'm looking and I'm saying, who is they? I have no clue who she's talking to. And she said, angels, energy. Truly, I was dumbfounded. I had no idea what she meant. And the only reason I trusted her even a little bit was because she knew some personal things about me that nobody else would have. I went home, and the next day, it was quiet in the house, nobody was there, and I thought, all right, I'm gonna give this meditation a try, and I put on a YouTube video. I have no idea which one, and I'm not even sure if it was guided, but I went through it, and when I came out, the world was one. There was no separation between me and you, me and the wall, me and the granite countertop, me and an animal, me and a plant. There was perfect oneness, unity, and the most peace I had ever felt in my life, and the most joy. And my first logical thought that didn't come right away, but when it did, was I know absolutely nothing. I know nothing. My parents know nothing. My society knows nothing. I know nothing. And in the knowing nothing, I was so comfortable and felt very supported in that knowing nothing. And the second thought was, why are we taking life so seriously? We came to play, we came to enjoy. In that state, there was nothing wrong, there was nothing to fix. There was such a, it's very hard to describe unless people have had the experience, but it just was, and all was good. And I had never known anyone to have that experience. I didn't know anything about this world. I didn't know what a guru was. I didn't know what a yogi was. I didn't know what yoga was because of the United States. But I decided to stop everything, even parenting different. In that state, didn't just last for 30 minutes. That state lasted for months. And not only that day, but the next day when I would sit, it was silence. And the silence was like going home. There was nothing outside of me that could create any harm. There was nothing outside of me that could create any discomfort. All the blame and shame that I had either put on myself or the rest of the world, it disappeared in the silence. And so I started to live a very, very different life, to such an extreme that my parents, who I have wonderful parents, but very much from a Western world, were concerned. We think you need help. Something's not right. And I said, I understand your fear, but there is nothing wrong, and I feel more right than I probably ever have. And even in their fear, there was no separation. I could feel their fear, but it was fine. And I could feel my okayness, and it was fine. Now, did I reach enlightenment? No. No. I still had a mind, and certainly still had attachments. But God gave me the grace that summer, because my children were at their dad's house in another state, to just be. And I discovered in that just being has more power than doing. And that's not something many people know or understand. And from where I'm from in the United States, that's a real foreign concept. So I gave myself the space to just be. And I would sit in silence for hours. There were very few thoughts. And when there was a thought, it became very apparent that it was reflected in this reality very quickly. And in that space, I also learned how powerful our thoughts are. So fast forward about a year, my children come back. I no longer parent the same. They're like, who is this lady? And I was like, the universe has you. I'm just your guide. We are just here. You are my teachers. They thought, who is this mother who is now in their world, who used to control probably every aspect of their journey? So when I gave myself this space, about a year goes by, and in a deep meditation, I heard, bring consciousness to corporations. And my first thought was, that's weird. If you would have said the medical world, I would have got that. I don't know business. I'm not a business person. So if that's the road, you need to bring me the people. And I am from a small state called Minnesota. And 3 weeks later, I met the most brilliant business partner who received the exact same message in California. She lives in California. And it was to bring consciousness to business. And she has a phenomenal business background. So we combined our love of science. I love neuroscience. She loves quantum physics. And our deep love of meditation, to bring that into corporations, to bring that to leaders, to bring that to their teams, so that they get more done without doing more. And so it's been a phenomenal journey. And along that way, I met a dear friend, Jennifer K. Hill. 4 weeks ago, she said, would you like to go on a trip with me? I'm going to India to speak. And I said, well, that sounds fabulous. And she said, but it's over Christmas. And I said, well, let me check with my kids. And they're like, Mom, please go. I had no idea what this organization was about. I had no idea what the movement was about. But to me, I have heard the phrase here, God is in each person. And that is something I don't necessarily use the same words, but have the same belief. So I will say, when God gives me an opportunity, or God asks something of me, the God in the other person finds the God in me, and I know it's a, yes, I need to go, or yes, let's do this. And the moment I mentioned it to my children and I said, I'll be gone for Christmas, they were the most supportive, like, Mom, you gotta go. You have the most amazing experience. Please go. So About 3 days later, Jen said, would you want to speak? Because I currently don't speak to spiritual organizations, but I do speak about spirituality to companies. So she said, I think you'd come. I think you'd have a great message, because one of my greatest things to share is wonder. Because when I went into that meditation and I came out, the world was full of wonder that I had when I was a child. You shook a present and you didn't know what it was. And there was that moment before you opened the present of all possibility. Anything could be inside that gift. And that space between the actual knowing, that feeling before it, is a state of wonder. And in that space, miracles and possibilities continuously happen on a daily basis. And I not only get to experience it, I see it for the majority of people I get to be around. So Jen said, can you speak at this event? I said, that'd be great. I'd never been to India, and I had been told something called the soul of India. But I didn't know what that meant. And I would say this organization, PSSM, certainly displays the soul of India. So for me, there is the concept of love. And I can tell you what love is. I can show you a picture and say it's holding somebody's hand. It's giving them a hug. It's a kiss on the cheek. It's a kiss on the lips. But you don't understand romantic love. All the pictures and all the descriptions don't do anything until you meet somebody and your heart starts to flutter. And you start to get a little sweaty and you're not sure what to say. It's something that is a concept that is non-conceptual, that we have to wrap concepts around to try to help us understand. But when we have the experience, that's the understanding. The experience is the understanding. And I share that story because that's what this has been like with what I call that soul of India. It was a concept until I came and met the most wonderful people. They have opened their arms, their homes, their soul. Just by a look, by a touch of a hand. It is something that needs to be experienced, just like that romantic love. And there are many forms of love, and there is the ultimate unconditional love. So I'm not trying to diminish love. Just saying the words can't do it. Even someone on stage today, I couldn't understand anything she said. And I heard my name and I heard friend. And I've known her a day. How blessed is that? So the beauty and love here is much like I experienced that day. And I can tell you, meditation gives you the space to breathe. It gives you a space to live. And they teach here, for me, what I think I was gifted, that meditation to go into silence. We use a phrase that the language of God is silence and all else is beautiful noise. And the other very important teaching I think they have here is that you are the power. It is you. The light within me, the light within you. We are the miracle. And we aren't just the silence in that meditation. We are walking meditations. We are living meditations. Meditation isn't something you do. It's something you are. It is so much more than the physical body. And Patriji now, who I've learned quite a bit about, and I so appreciate his dedication to sharing what he knew, has created a space that even from my Western culture, which often is considered privileged. It doesn't compare to here. And the music is tremendous. I do not get up at 5 a.m. at home. I get up at 5 a.m. to be here to hear the music, to be with the people, to sit for 3 hours. I wouldn't change that. The pyramids, I had to take pictures to send back to my children. I could not believe the size of the pyramid. And I know when I am completely in alignment because there is a movement that happens. It's almost as if I am being rocked by the universe, rocked by God, held in the most beautiful space. And in the silence, there's just this almost like a rocking of a baby. And when I went up to the first level, the Queen's Chamber, I sat down and immediately the movement, the energy is undeniable. The beauty, the love is unspeakable, even though I am trying to use words to describe. They have a youth movement here that touches me since I have 5 children. And I am blessed to have 5 children. They're doing terrific, terrific work and giving you some of the most important pointers you will ever have in your life. Not just to live in a world, but to come back home to you and to your power. And I cannot explain the hospitality here, the love, the kindness, any more than I have. It is something that needs to be experienced. And maybe you can't come to India, but they have a global organization. Go and sit with people who will hold your hand if you need while you're learning to sit in silence and to come back to you and to find your true power. Oh, Pari, this is the first time I have met Pari. Pari, so generous and gracious, wonderful leader, a wonderful leader. And so because she's leading from the heart, there appears to be such flow through her. We call it divine flow back home. We often use this phrase, life's happening to me, by me, through me. And then there's the state of know me. Through me is when you have opened yourself up to service and it's okay whatever's happening. Life is directing you. It is such a power to be in that space because you have the ability to affect not 5 people or 10 people, but millions of people, even just by being there. And that's what I have found in Pari. She is allowing life to happen through her, and her dedication to carrying her father's work is shown in every word she says, every hug she gives, every meal she provides, every connection she makes. So I think she's absolutely incredible and a true, true gift. One of the most incredible things I have found here is the number of people here. They provide free meals, free vegetarian meals, and they're delicious. They have very deep belief in the food that they give, how they give it, how it's prepared. It is prepared by meditators. It is served by meditators. Back home, my grandmother would say it is served with love. And that affects the vibration of food. And so I have been blessed to eat this fabulous food that is part of their mission as well. Vegetarian, delivering that message to the world, what it does for our bodies, what it does for the community, is something that they believe very deeply in. And you can see that with each meal. You can feel that with each person that serves you, how much they respect themselves, the food, the planet, and the earth. So that has been a great change from the world that I am from, and beautiful, beautiful to see. So I want to thank everybody actually who has prepared my food, who has served my food, who has washed my dish. I can't thank you enough for the new foods and the hot spice that I'm attempting to get used to. I also want to thank Patriji for starting this movement, for following something he believed in. There's something about passion in people, and when they really believe in something and having a dream, we all deserve that. And he has shown the way that it's possible to say, this is how I want to live, and this is what I feel is for me, despite what other people think. And we need more of that in this world. Passion and dreams are important for each one of us. And his gift of meditation and making it simple. I have not studied under many people. Silence has been my gift and where I return. And I've heard of many different types of meditation, and I think they're all wonderful, and I think all tools help people the way they need to be helped at the moment. But this is so easy. It's so easy. There's not a bunch of twists and turns and breathing really fast or not breathing or trying to count. It's just relaxing into the breath, which we all have. So I have to thank him for sharing that with the world and making it simple. And I'd like to thank Pari for continuing, for opening her home and her arms to me, to come here to be with everyone. And thank each and every person that I've met. I will not forget. I don't keep a lot of my memories. I don't find they often serve. I prefer to be now. But this is one I'd like to hold on to. And I'm okay holding on to this one. And I'd like to thank everybody who wanted a picture. Everybody I got to take a picture with. Everybody's hand I got to touch, and every hug that I received. I will be taking you back with me. And I will be sharing what I learned with the people that I get to spend my time with and who I get to work with. So I thank you, and I send many blessings.